Hi there, my name is Joy. Welcome to your Yoga Fury online platform class. Today we're going to be looking at a short core workout, core class. I'm focusing in not just on the abdominals, which we always associate with our core, but also our hip flexor muscles, our psoas. Looking at those muscles which lift your leg or fold your body forwards. Quite an important key part of our core that is often neglected, especially for those who spend our days sitting at desks or in cars or what have you. So before we begin, you may want a couple of bricks. You may not need them, you'll definitely need one. If you haven't got bricks, a big sturdy book or something similar that you can put some weight in. We'll be working into elephant pose, so we'll be taking weight into our hands. So quite possibly you are going to want two of the same sort of height. So if they're not bricks, get some books now. Okay, so we're going to start lying on our backs. Make your way there now. Extend your legs out long and just settle yourself in. Any last fidgets you need to make, wiggles you need to do to be comfortable here, just for a minute. And then bring your hands to your belly, both hands. Draw them down to the space just below your belly button. So your fingertips are meeting in the middle, maybe your thumbs are meeting around the belly button area. And breathe. Notice your hands rise and fall with each breath. Work now on drawing the breath deeper down into the belly. So really drawing it to the space under your hands. I'm thinking about our transverse abdominal muscles now. So that's a belt of muscle that wraps all the way around the waist, across the belly, right round to the back. And consider that you can isolate part of that muscle, particularly the section underneath your hands. And that as you breathe out, you can start to gently firm that muscle under your hands, as if you were drawing the two pointy hip bones towards one another, those two knobbly bits at the front of your pelvis, as if on your breath out, you could squeeze them together. Now, clearly, they're not going to move, but you'll feel, perhaps, a switch on of those muscles across the very lower section of your belly. And as you breathe in, just let it go. Let the belly fill with air again. Breathing out to switch on those muscles under your hands, as if you could squeeze them in towards the center line. And letting it go as you breathe in. And it may be that sensation's quite hard to find or to get a sense of. But we can just begin with that by imagining that that's what's happening under our hands. And for some people, that's just plenty. On your next breath out now, firm your lower belly down towards your spine. Belly button draws into. Notice the back of the pelvis start to shift and the lower back gets a little bit closer towards the floor. Keep that there as you continue to breathe. Keep that activation switched on and lift your right leg. We're only lifting it about a foot distance off the mat. So a foot as in your foot. Flex both of your heels and lower it back down. Lift the left leg, flexing your feet. Extend your heel away. Lower it back down. Now as you lift your right leg, notice the shift of muscular effort underneath your hands. The fact that one side of your pelvis, probably your left, might have lifted slightly. Lower that leg back down and pay attention to what happens as you lift the left leg. Lowering that down. As you lift the right leg now, trying to keep both hip bones really super level with one another. Finding that balance across the pelvis, lowering it back down, same again on the left. Perhaps you're drawing your left hip down slightly while still squeezing both hip bones into the center line. One more time on each side as you really figure out what's going on and how you can find some balance across the front of the pelvis here. And when you've done with that, bring your right knee into your chest. Hold on to it with your hands and just give it a squeeze. Extend your right heel away. Draw your left heel away. Draw your right knee into your chest. And notice what's going on for you here in your hips. You might feel that your left knee is lifting slightly off the mat. And it's quite hard to draw the back of the leg down. That's completely normal, absolutely fine. It's actually a sign quite often of tight hip flexors. Just observe what's happening for you. Charge your left heel away. As you breathe out, squeeze your right knee in. And then swap the legs. Extending your right heel away, gently drawing left knee in towards your chest. Pay attention to whether the sensations are any different on this side. And then bring both knees now into your chest. Hold on to the backs of your thighs. We'll rock and roll our way up and down our spine until we find ourselves seated. But I'd like you to find a place where you could hover your feet when you come up rather than landing them. So coming up straight into Anavasana balance here with our shins parallel with the floor, holding onto the backs of your thighs. Just pausing here for a second and now bring your hands down to the mat behind your hips. Use your hands to push into them, lift your chest, draw your shoulders down. Bring your shins level with the floor again. Keep pushing your hands into the mat to find that straight back here and keep it. As you draw your right knee into your chest, draw it away, draw your left knee in, and away. Right knee and left knee. Keep alternating the legs. Keep pushing into the hands, re-establish that lift through the chest. Nice straight back here. You might start to be noticing some sensations in the front of your inner hips here. Slow down the movement. Feel into those sensations some more. And then bring both knees into your chest. Re-establish the lift of your chest by pushing into your hands. Squeeze your knees in more tightly. Lift your chest some more. Squeeze your knees in some more. Flexing your feet, lift your heels an inch. And release that off, roll over into all fours. And then we'll find ourselves into a high plank. So you can stay on your knees here for this exercise, particularly if you're dealing with lower back stuff or holding high plank doesn't feel so great for you. Otherwise, spread your fingers nice and wide. Firm that strap of muscle across the lower belly so that your lower back starts to flatten. And then tuck your toes and send them back. Send your feet back into high plank. And again, firm that lower belly once more. You may well have lost it as you moved your legs. Now, squeeze your knees in towards your wrists. Bend them, lower them towards the mat. As you do that, drag your wrists back towards your knees. Hold it here. Lengthen away. Take a breath. As you breathe out next, knees draw in, not lowering them all the way down. Squeeze them in towards your wrists. Now, you can stay here. You can do this on your knees as well. Dragging your knees in, dragging your wrists in. It's quite a strong action through the lower belly. Extend your heels one more time. Knees come in. Wrists drag back towards you. Extend them away. Feels like a relief. And then bring your right foot to the front of the mat. Into our low lunge here. Just for a moment. Getting a sense of the stretch into the hips. Feeling gravity do its thing as your pelvis lowers down towards the mat just a little more. And if this doesn't feel great for you, you've always have the option to land your back knee. Charge your chest forwards, let your hips sink. And then, with one of your bricks, place it inside your right foot. Plant your right hand onto the brick. Roll onto the inside edge of your left foot. With your toes turned in just a little, you might need to shift about with the brick a little. And as you breathe in now, just lift your body, sweep your left arm up overhead and towards the right hand side, palm down. Allow the hips to sink here, breathing in to open through the chest. Find a nice straight line from the outside of your left foot all the way up through the side of your body into your fingertips. And we're not aiming to get lower here. We're aiming to stay high. So really use the brick or the block and push into it with your fingers or with your hands. Push into the brick. Notice the sides of the waist, the belly, switch on. And now keep that as you lift up onto your tiptoes on your right foot. Breathe in, breathe out, explore whether your hips will sink a little deeper. Pushing the floor away with your hand and your right toes. And then breathe out, release it down. Bring your left hand down to the mat, move your brick out of the way for a moment. Right arm up towards the right hand side. We're twisting towards our right knee now. Sinking your hips down, particularly your right hip. Push into your left foot to charge your left hip forwards. And then twist yourself open from the belly. Next breath out, lower your hands. With control, step your right foot back into high plank, but with your foot lifted. Again, option to be on your knee here, perhaps. Keep your leg lifted. Belly strong. Strap of muscle across your lower belly firms tight. And then, sorry, just moving my brick out of the way. And then lower your foot, lower your knees. Elbows in with your ribs all the way down to the mat. Elbows now into your ribs. Inhale, chest forwards and up. Exhale it down. Tuck your toes. Hop your knees forwards, belly strong. Push up all fours. Downward facing dog. And then we will be taking that on the other side. So first of all, coming into our high plank. Whilst you stay there and squeeze your knees in towards your wrists in towards your knees, and then let it go, I switch sides of the mat. And fetch my break. One more time, knees in, belly strong. Charge your heels back. And then this time, step your left foot forwards. Just for a moment, allow the hips to sink here, option to be on your right knee. Taking your brick, placing it inside your left foot, hand onto your brick, whilst the inside edge of your right foot. Breathe in, sweep your right arm up, overhead, towards the left-hand side, palm down. Again, finding that nice straight line, pushing into the left foot, length all the way up through your left arm. Push your left hand into the brick. And now come up onto the tiptoes of your left foot, just moving the brick so you can see what I'm doing there. Draw that strap of muscle in so you can open and twist some more. And then release it down. Land your right hand, roll onto the ball of your right foot. Shift your brick out of the way, left arm reaches up. Twist yourself open. Breathe in here. Breathe out, land your left hand. Lifting your left foot really slowly, curling that back into a high plank with the leg lifted here. Hold it for a breath. Charge both heels back. And then feet down, knees down, elbows with ribs, chest down. Push your feet into the floor. Inhale your chest forwards and up. Exhale it down. Tuck your toes. Hop your knees forwards. Belly strong to flatten your lower back. All fours, downward facing dog. Relax your neck. And then walk your feet to your hands at the front of your mat. Breathe in, rising all the way up. Breathe out, hands meet in prayer. Okay, we're going to make our way through a quick balance flow now, which works into, a flow which works into the inner hips. So breathe in, reach up, look up, arms up. Breathe out, sit yourself down into a chair pose, our fierce pose, Utkatasana here. You want your knees tracking forwards over your toes. Firm that strap of muscle in so that there's a slight flatness of the lower back. We're not looking to over-exaggerate it. Sit yourself down deeper. Breathe in to lift your chest. Breathe out to sit yourself deeper. And now, take your left leg, step it back behind you into a high lunge. Breathing in, lift and open your chest, perhaps gazing up between your hands. Breathe out, sink down deeper. Firm the lower belly. That strap of muscle squeezes in, the two hip bones towards one another. And you can grow longer from there as you breathe in next. Your exhale allows you to sink deeper. And now hands come down to prayer at your chest. Taking your right foot out to the side of the mat. Checking with your balance a bit there. Stepping in with your left. Heels are turned out just a little as we find our way down into Malasana, our yogi squat. So I'm turning to face you so you can see what I'm doing. Lift your chest, use your knees, your elbows to drive your knees apart. And then sitting down onto your heels, taking hold of your bricks for elephant pose. Lots of options here now. So bringing your left foot out in front of you. Keep your right foot out to the side slightly, have your bricks by the sides of your hips. And you can work just here with pushing yourself into your hands and lifting your hips. And just play with that, that might be enough. You might then be able to lift your left leg too. If you're feeling quite flexible and open in the hips, you might be able to hook your right leg over the top of your right shoulder and bring your right hand back to the brick. The legs are going to move slightly down the upper arm. As long as it feels stable enough, that's okay. And then, left hand on left brick. Perhaps you can lift your hips from here. Perhaps the left leg's coming up to you. Push into your hands. Keep lifting your chest. Check that you're not rounding through the back here. Chest up, gazing forwards. Flex your left foot. Push into your hands. Lift. Releasing that down now. Extend it off. Bricks behind you. Let's take the other side. Coming back to our Malasana. Breathe in here. Breathe out. Breathe in all the way up. Hands meet. Come down to prayer at your chest. Breathe in, gaze up. Arms up. Breathe out, sitting down. Fierce pose. Utkatasana. Fierce pose. Chest up. Strap of belly strong across the middle of your belly. Sit yourself down more deeply. Now take your right leg. Step it back into our high lunge here. Arms up, gazing up. Shoulders back. Lift your chest. Sinking down. Find that strap of muscle again across your belly. Draw it in and grow taller from that point onwards. Sinking down deeper as you breathe out. Now shuffle left foot out to the side. Hands come into prayer. Stepping forwards, right foot sinking all the way down. Malasana. Lift your chest. Knees into upper arms. Push your upper arms into your knees. Chest is lifted some more. And then just rolling onto your bum. Again, I will turn around. And this time, right leg out in front with your bricks by your hips. Maybe you're here, lifting your hips. Maybe you're here and you can play with lifting your right leg too. Maybe we're taking this left leg and wearing it like a rucksack, as you do, and bringing the left hand back to the brick. So your left leg needs to be onto your upper arm at the very least, if not higher, as far as it will go, and you need to feel like it's going to stay there when you push into your arms. Your left arm will need to stay a bit bent. Squeeze your knee a little bit here. Both hands are now on bricks. Push into them. to lift your hips up off the mat, lift your chest, and maybe the right leg lifts too, flexing your foot. Keep lifting your chest, push into your hands, lift your hips a little more, hold it here, breathe, and release it down. Unravel yourself off, bricks out of the way now, and come down to lying on your back. Walk your heels in towards your bum. Shuffle your shoulder blades down your back. That strap of muscle across the lower belly rolls in. Lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Setu Bandhasana, bridge pose. Breathing in right up into the top of your chest. Breathing out, finding more length and lift through the hips. Drag your heels back towards you. They're not going to move, but feel like they're dragging on the mat. To lift your hips a little more. Release it down. Knees stack above your hips now, as if you were sitting in a chair on your back. Bring your arms out at shoulder height. And just twist your knees over to the floor on the right-hand side. Aiming to keep your left shoulder on the floor. Maybe gazing down to the left. Taking a couple of nice, deep, restorative breaths. Inhale, knees back to the center, over to the other side. Maybe gazing to the right. Right shoulder still feels like it's got some weight down into the mat. So sometimes using your brick to support your legs can give you a bit more space here. Feels like you're not dragging your body across into the twist. Slow, deep breath. And then give your knees a squeeze in. And find your way into Shavasana. Feet fall apart, hands by your hips, palms up. And perhaps you'd like to revisit where we were at the beginning by bringing your hands onto your lower belly. There are so many more elements to our core than just those abdominal muscles at the front of the body. Just notice what those unusual movements that we did brought up for you today. And without attaching any labels to yourself as a result. It's all about observation and notice what's happening in your body. Nice deep breaths into your belly. Belly rises, belly falls. And I will leave you now here in peace to continue your Shavasana. Thank you so much for joining me today for your practice. Namaste.